Hey, what's going on, guys? John Shea here with the No Shame Income vlog, and today I'm actually going to be doing a review of a credit card, and I'm going to be reviewing the Discover credit card, a company that's been around for a very long time. And I thought this would be something a little bit different from some of the other traditional review videos that I've done in the past. Normally, I'm reviewing like different products, digital services, things of that nature, courses, whatever might have you. And I've never really been like a big financial person in the sense of like looking at credit cards. I know there's a lot of websites out there that will review all these different credit cards, things like that. But I've actually been a member, someone that's been actually using the Discover card for over 10 years. So I thought, hey, why not do a review on this? Give you guys my thoughts, my feedback as someone that's been using the Discover card for well over 10 years. So today I'm going to really dive into some of the benefits, any cons, any things that, pros and cons, really everything that you need to know about this card and whether or not it's something that you should spend any time with, right? So let's dive into today's video. All right, so I'm over on discover.com and I wanted to just talk about some of the features, and really before we dive into Discover Card as a whole, I want to give a little bit of my feedback on just credit cards in general, right? So, growing up, I remember watching Garfield on TV, and there was this episode where, and this was of course in the 90s, like very early 90s, I remember there was this episode where I believe his name was John, the cat owner of Garfield, went and had this whole episode around how he just hated credit cards, and he went and cut up all the credit cards, and credit cards were so bad, and it was like this really evil thing to own a credit card, right? And he started trying to use cash everywhere, and the whole episode was based around how all the businesses didn't accept cash and they only accepted credit cards. So it was pretty funny. And I remember thinking about that, and also seeing my father and my parents really rack up a lot of credit card debt over the years and have a real struggle getting out of that. So what I will say is that if you have a credit card, it's very easy to spend money on it, especially if you're going out and you're like, oh, I'll get groceries, I'll get this, I'll get that. And before you know it, you go to look at the bill and it's like colossal in terms of how much you could be spending. Now, I think if that's a problem for you and you're someone that is easily just going to go out there and spend, 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 and then you're just like hit with these huge bills, you're probably going to be better off going with a debit card. That's just my general advice there. If you're someone that you think, hey, I have maybe a good amount of money in savings, and I know that I can responsibly use my credit card, pay it off, use my credit card, pay it off. If you're very diligent and very disciplined about doing that, and you're confident that you can do that, then I think a credit card is actually a good way to go. And the reason for that is that you have the ability to earn rewards from using these different cards, right? You've heard, hey, I can go out and get a credit card and earn airline miles or different rewards, whatever it might be. And the good thing I like about Discover Card is they give you cash back. Now, Discover Card has a few advantages here, is that you can actually use that cash back to pay your bills. So it's literally as valuable as actual money. It's not like you're redeeming it for like special prizes, right? It's actual money that you're able to get back. And then they also have a connectivity option with Amazon.com. And if you're like me, you probably buy a lot of things on Amazon. I'm pretty much buying a lot of different things every single month on Amazon, where me and my wife are subscribed to Prime. So we're constantly buying things on Amazon, having them delivered to the house, whether or not it's just basic household goods like, for example, I like to buy my mouthwash on Amazon. So if I wanted to, I could use my cash back to actually purchase those different products that I buy on a regular recurring basis through Amazon. Now, in terms of the card itself, I've had a couple of issues where people have essentially gotten a hold of my credit card and gone and more or less went and spent it on things that were very miscellaneous. Like I had someone recently this past year went and like spend a bunch of money on Uber Eats, and like it really didn't make a lot of sense, right? And there were like these small transactions. And the biggest thing that I was able to do is every time something like this has occurred to me, and it's happened maybe 2 or 3 times maximum, and it's not, of course, any fault to Discover, is I was able to go back and actually contact them, get them on the phone very quickly, explain what's going on, and then actually have them fight those charges and ultimately send me a new card, which all happened very, very quickly. The other thing that I've noticed is over time, I've been able to raise my credit limit quite significantly, which is really something I haven't needed. But if there was ever a situation where, say, I needed to spend multiple thousands of dollars on something, and I wanted to utilize the credit card to do that, then I have that credit limit available, and I know that it's something that's there if I ever need that help. So For me, I think some of the biggest advantages of this have been really just knowing that if I'm diligent about spending off any money that I'm spending on the card, I'm going to earn back that cash back. And the cool thing about the cash back is they do, I believe it's like 1 to 2% for all purchases. And then for anything that's specific, they'll do up to 5% where they rotate it on like a quarterly basis. So right now, they're doing a 5% cash back at all grocery stores, Walgreens, and CVS up through March 31st. And they apply this on up to $1,500 worth of purchases. So if I go to any grocery store, I'm immediately getting 5% back on what I spend. Now, normally if I use my debit card, right, I'm not going to get that bonus. So those are just some real advantages to this, but obviously you have to be going into it with the idea that, hey, I'm going to be disciplined about paying it off. So let me jump into my actual account. We're going to do stay logged in. And I really like their online interface. I also really like their mobile app. I'm not going to show the mobile app, but you can actually use a PIN. You can quickly get in the mobile app, see what's going on, make payments, and it's very easy to manage. Inside the dashboard, I can see how much my current balance is. You can see my available credit line. I have up to $12,500. I can view billing statements. They have a cool tool called the Spend Analyzer. I'll open this up. And you can actually see a breakdown of like all these different things. So this has an activity chart that shows recent activity, any services, merchandise. It basically breaks everything down for all the different categories, and I can get general ideas of like where I'm spending, pending transactions, as well as transactions that have already gone through. So this is really helpful if you're someone that's like looking to learn, well, you know, how much money did I spend on restaurants this month, right? You can come in here and actually see that data and get a better understanding of where your spend is going. Then you've also got a general activity log of any pending transactions. And if we go and load more activity, in my case, I can see all the transactions that have currently gone through. And it's very clear, very easy to read and understand. You can see it'll show what the charge is. So in this case, this was like a supermarket, or this was actually a restaurant, but they labeled it as supermarkets. So sometimes the categorization isn't super accurate, but generally I found that it's pretty good. We also can see any payments that are due. As of right now, I have none. And then I also will have the cash back bonus. And usually these comes in kind of like spurts. So you'll all of a sudden just get a big amount. And then when you go to pay your bill, you can choose to use that during the payment portion of it. If you want to learn more about other things, they have the options here where you can make payments, look at payment history. You can set up automatic payments, manage any bank accounts. You can also look at things that you have recurring charges for if you want to like learn more about things that you're constantly purchasing on a regular basis. And then, of course, if you have any issues with like digital wallets, or you need to freeze your card, you don't have to call them. You can literally just log in and do all of this stuff. You can register for travel, which is something I've had to do. You know, if you go traveling, let's say I go to Florida or something, they had flagged like that I was buying things in Florida at one point. So I went and had to register the card to show them, hey, I'm actually traveling, and like it's not fraud, right? So they've got some really good stuff set up in here. I even have options in here if I need to get immediate access to cash, do balance transfers, as well as do credit line increases. They do have a FICO credit scorecard where you can come in here and see your FICO score, which is really nice little benefit. Normally you might have to pay for that with like another service to get your credit score. As well as obviously it's not great for your credit to be constantly running it all the time. And then of course here you have digital wallets, so you can link it into any of the major payment platforms like PayPal. Google Pay is another one I use often, as well as Amazon, which I already mentioned. You can also add authorized users. So this is something that I did. I added my wife, and I was able to actually get a custom card. Her card has like cats all over it and stuff, which she loves. And I was able to add her as an authorized user. So she can freely use the card. Here's an example, is we just had to buy, of course, diapers for our newborn daughter. And you know, I can see any charges that she's making, and it's using the same card number. So instead of her having a separate account, we're able to share, and I can see separate transactions that are being made based on which card is being used. So I found that to be a nice feature. Of course, the rewards, like we talked about, they do have a whole page here where you can learn more about that. And it's 1% cash back on all purchases, and then they rotate to 5% based on where you're actually purchasing. So in my opinion, I've never had an issue with them, like getting in touch with them, getting someone to help me, utilizing any of their features. The website never goes down. I've never had an issue where I couldn't get in and like I was running into a maintenance problem where I couldn't, you know, access my account or anything of that nature. So as someone that's been using Discovercard for over 10 years, I've found it to be overall quite worth it. And in my case, if I actually go to my cashback summary, which I think is this page, we go to there's a page where I can kind of get, I was just looking at it. Let me see if I can find it. So this actually breaks down the 5% bonuses, and you can see how much I've earned. As of now, I've earned up to $8, and then another $24 in 1%. I'll have to activate for the next one coming up. But what I did want to show you is, I believe it's the cashback summary. Let me see. There's basically a place where I can see redeem it. Here we go. So I can see all my redemption history, and in some cases I'm earning quite a bit. So here I earned over $100, $15, $91, $96, $84. So this really adds up, right, over a period of time. And in reality, because I'm paying off the card so quickly, every time I get a balance on it, I just log in. I'll do it on my mobile phone sometimes. I'm like bored, I'll be sitting out somewhere and I'm like waiting around. I'll just quickly log in the mobile app, boom, pay it. Constantly just paying it, paying it, paying it. And I've actually never accrued interest on this card in all the time I've ever had it. The one thing I did do that I will caution you of is I did one time withdraw cash out of an ATM, and that incurs like an immediate penalty, or at least it did at the time. I wasn't really sure that that was the case, and I ended up incurring some extra charges because of that. But other than that, because I'm so diligent about constantly just paying it off, I've actually earned multiple hundreds of dollars in cash back. You can see all these transactions, and this only goes back to 2018, and I've been using this for a significantly longer period of time. So I'm constantly just getting the cash back. And of course, if you're buying in those categories that offer the 5%, you're going to earn even more. So what I'll leave this with is, if you guys, ever decide, hey, I am going to get a credit card and I would like to take advantage of an actual cashback reward, as well as a card that, as a company, it's been around forever, in my opinion, is accepted, pretty much anywhere. I've never had an issue where they were like, oh, we don't take Discover. There is an opportunity where if you guys join, I'm going to leave a link below in the description. If you guys join through my link, you're actually going to get a $50 reward. So nice little perk for signing up to Discover. I'll leave that link below in the description. If you have any questions for me, feel free to leave a comment about that. And yeah, essentially, 100% recommended. I've never had an issue with them. I'm very happy with the customer service, and I think it's a great card. The user interface is great, easy to work with, good mobile app, and yeah, I think they really do have your best interest. And if you're, again, very diligent, very disciplined, then I think this is something you should do. Another thing I'll note is, when I initially met my wife 7 years ago, when we had just first met, she had actually never had a credit card, and I got her set up with Discover, and that was a tool that we used to actually build up her credit, and it allowed her to actually take out her very first car loan because she utilized that credit card. If she had just stuck with the traditional debit card that she had, she would have never been able to build her credit in any way, and it would have prevented her from getting other cards or anything else through other offers. In this case, she ended up at one point eventually getting like an Amazon card so she could take advantage of some of the Amazon discounts. So that's another really good perk if you're someone that is looking to build some of your credit. What I recommend is maybe going into this with like, you could probably even contact them and say, hey, I'd love to set up a card, but I only want like a $500 credit balance. And that way you kind of protect yourself, and you don't put yourself in a situation where you're ever going to go over that, and the card will just simply decline if you go over that credit limit. So anyway, I'll leave a link below. If you have any questions for me, let me know, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video.